Learn how to create multiple objects using a constructor function. A constructor function is like a blueprint used to create many similar objects. Now, I want to give a simple illustration. Let's say you have a carton or a box, and inside that box you have different things like lamp, a torchlight, a battery, a charger, a spoon, and other things like that. Now, if you take out of that box and then you want to reference wherever you take the element out from, it is always going to be that box. It does not matter which of the item is being picked out, whether it is spoon, whether it's a lamp or a torchlight. When they ask you where did you pick it from, you're always going to refer to that box, because that box or the carton will serve as a blueprint of whatever it is that those items belongs to. So the same thing can be said for a constructor function or a constructor object. So let's look at an example of how you can, have an object constructor and prototype in JavaScript. If you look at my script section, you will see some steps that I've itemized and commented out so that we can follow it to create our object constructor. The first one says create constructor function person. So I will go ahead now and make a constructor. Now, how do you even make a constructor? That's the first question. Well, you make a constructor just like a function. So function, then you now pass in your constructor name. The first letter is always in capital letter to signify that it is a constructor. Then I want to put some things like last, age, and I. Now, all these things that you can see now are the properties of my constructor. Now, step 2 says use this to define property. Now, you now use the keyword, this keyword to define property. And what does that mean? So I can now say this dot first name equals to first, which is the first parameter. This dot last name equals to last. This dot age equals to age. This dot I column equals to I. Now, step 3 says use new person to create objects. Let's now say we want to create an instance from this. How do we really do it? Well, let's go ahead and make a new person object from this constructor. So let's say I want to make my father as my expression. Then if I want to make an instance, that is, if I want to make a copy of what I have here, how do I do it in JavaScript? You need the new keyword alongside your constructor name. So in this instance, I'll pass in the new keyword and the constructor name, person. And now I can pass value inside this. I'll say John, Kevin, 60 years, and dark. To make another one for my mother, I can do this as well. I'll say new person, call the mother's name, Charlie, Met, 49, blue. So now what I've done is that I've created an instance of this constructor, one for my father and one for my mother. And to let you know that we actually created an instance of it, let's try to output what we have here. Document.getElementById dot inner dot html equals to my father is plus my father dot age plus my mother is plus my mother dot age. Look at this. My father is 60. My mother is 49. That's to tell you that we were able to create an instance from the main constructor. So what this example does is that it creates two objects. One is my father and the other one is my mother. Using the same constructor, you can see that it's following this blueprint. And how do you know? You can see that this blueprint has about 4 parameters, and you can see that we are passing in 4 parameters as well in the instance of the new object, as you can see. So constructor help you create multiple objects efficiently without repeating code. Just with the new keyword and the name of the constructor, you can create as many as possible. So if I have like 10 different objects that I want to create from this new object, I can go ahead and create them and all of them will work. You can see there are errors because of the fact that I'm repeating name. But if I change like maybe my father one, no, my father one, my mother one, and so on and so forth, two, change this to three, change this to three, change this to two, change this to like four, change this also to four. Now, you can see that all the errors are gone now. But then it simply means that I just need to add them. So once I start adding them here and say my mother's age and I do something like this to let you know that this was my father 1.h plus my mother 4.h. And look at it. So it's showing their age. It's because of I didn't add space. That's why you are not seeing it. So if I add space, and my father one, which is, and I add it with this, then you definitely see, you can see it. My father one age is 60, and so on and so forth. So if you want to output it, what I'm just basically using this for is that I want to show us that we can have as many as possible objects from a single constructor by just using the new keyword and the name of the constructor. And that way, you can now create multiple and a blueprint of that constructor. Constructor function are the foundation of creating reusable object structures in JavaScript, and that is what makes them important.